Warning: the following program is rated MA for mature audiences. Now, with that being said, our podcast is not for everybody. There's certain things that are going to be dropped and said that you're either going to like, disagree with, or maybe even hate us for. But that's okay because we're here to give people a fresher perspective, give them a new way of looking at things. This podcast is not going to be one of those sugar cookie cutters, make you feel good podcasts. It's going to be one of those podcasts that's going to give you direct truth, honesty, and in that honesty, there might be some moments where you might not like us. We're going to give you some hot sauce. And what I mean by that is we're going to share with you things, our experiences, and things that we've went through, and lessons we've learned to help you navigate and be better in the dating world. There's also going to be some truth moments. We're going to tell you guys some harsh realities as well. And we're also going to be dropping some gems. And what I mean is golden nuggets to help you have a better and more successful dating life. Plus, there's also going to be some spicy moments. That's why it's for more mature audiences only. But with all that being said, I also want you guys to understand this is a platform of peace and respect. Disrespect will not be tolerated here by anybody. Comments that put people down will be deleted and you will be removed from our groups or social media because this is an open platform for us to come and have different perspectives, for us to agree to disagree, not to put someone down for what they believe in. Because again, you're not going to believe in everything that we say. Some things you're going to be like, nah, I don't agree with that. And that's okay. We want you to disagree with us. But we also want to be able to give you fresher perspectives where you're like, you know what? That makes sense. This is how men and women think. This is how they navigate the dating world. Because the thing is, it's not about it being perfect. It's about getting results. It's about finding the people that you want to be with or finding your one person that you want to be with. And we're here to help you do that through our experiences, the books we've studied, the videos, applying that information to our lives and getting the results that we were looking for either with dating or relationships. So welcome to the podcast. We're really looking forward to having you guys and can't wait for you to be a part of our groups and our Patreon group. Let's go. Let's get it done. Hey, everybody. How's it going? It's Michael White.
And Anthea Morphitis. How are we all doing today? Hope everyone's doing well.
I hope everyone is doing fantastic. So, again, before we get started, you guys can follow us on all these social media handles, Twitter, Love and Relationships, Facebook, Love Relationship Podcast, and Instagram, Love Relationship Podcast. You know, we want to be able to engage with you guys on a deeper level. We also want you guys to submit to us topics that you might want us to talk about. Obviously, you know, we pick certain topics that are very on demand. But again, if there's any suggestions, please do share them with us. So right now we're actually going to talk about a topic that's not taboo, but it gets a lot of people clashing, men and women. Because again, and it's not to point the fingers at women, but we're going to talk about why the word submission is has such a negative connotation attached to it, and why people don't like the word submission, especially when it's used in a relationship. Because, you know, in today's modern age, everything is so free. People can do what they want. People can get their own money. So with all that being said, when there's this word submission being used, there's an uproar. People start fighting. So again, we're actually going to have that discussion and talk about our experiences being in those type of relationships, how they turned out, what we could have did better, and how to help you guys. Now, with all that being said, before I get started, there's also another thing I want to share with you guys. Everything is going to be backed up and fact checked. So we're on Linktree. and you'll be able to see all of the studies that I personally go and find myself, studies that have been done by colleges, universities, privately, to back up the stuff we're saying. So after every live, you'll be able to go on Linktree, and be able to go and see these studies to back up what we're saying, so we're not just talking out of our bottom. You'll be able to be like, you know what, at least they do the research, they go and look to see, like, okay, wow, like, I never thought about it from that perspective. So let's get into the topic of submission. I'm gonna throw it over to Anthea a little bit. um, what I'm gonna ask Anthea is mission. Before you knew about the word submission, and then you finally learned about it, did you fight against it a lot when you heard the word submission? Did you feel like you were giving up some freedoms?
No, not really. It was more to do with submission. Was it's a funny word, isn't it? Because it can feel like a negative effect, like, oh, you're submitting to something, you're that submission to something, like you're just giving yourself over, and there's nothing, you know, it's like you're giving your control away, but it's not that. It's completely not that. I think again, it's an understanding between two people, and a feeling. If you're in love with somebody and you're being treated right and they're treating you right, and you've got something great going on with one another, you're going to want to do things, and you're going to want to do things you wouldn't maybe
Okay.
have done before, right? So I think on the short term of things, that's what I think. But that's
Okay.
how I
Well,
felt
let
even
let
when I first heard it. Yeah,
yeah, like, let's break it down. Like, so, like, for submission, you mean like jumping on the man's program, like if you really care about a guy, because we have to use guys and girls. If you really like the guy, but you see he has a purpose, you see he has a vision, what you're saying is you have no problem jumping on his program because you feel that he has the ability to lead you, right?
absolutely, absolutely. When you see, when I've in my personal experiences, when a man has got that leadership and that movement forward and that vision, and he wants to succeed in life, then I'm happy to jump on with that, and I'm happy to follow his lead, because um, a man is like a lion, isn't he? He will go out and fight and get what he needs, and he will look after his pack. So that's what a man does. And that's, for me, it's like I wouldn't want to be the other way around, where a man comes to me and I lead. That doesn't make sense to me. I can lead. A woman, for me, will lead in certain aspects of her life, as motherhood, let's say. As myself, I can say, through motherhood, raising children by myself, I was the leader and they followed what I was saying, what I do, like, that kind of leadership. But when a man, I've had an experience where a man comes in and has tried to jump on my side of things and want me to take the leadership, then to me that's very masculine, and I'm not that person. I'm very feminine. I want to be led by my man. I want him to have my back, and I want to have his back. So anything that happens between us, or anything that he leads me to, not anything, it's like there might be stuff that I turn around and say, that's not for me. But there's a communication and understanding behind that. um so yeah, is that kind of answer your question, Michael?
It does, it does, because you see, I love that you said that, though, because what you're saying is when you jump on the man's program, you win. That's what you're
Yeah,
saying, because
absolutely,
if he's
absolutely.
well established, and ladies, we're going to talk about it all. When he's well established, we're talking financially, mentally, he's on his plan, he's doing his thing, he's flourishing as a man. My question becomes, then how do you not benefit? Because
Hmm.
as a man, men and women love differently. And I'm going to talk to you from the men's point of view. For men, you know that we love you if we're sharing our resources with you, our time, our attention, and all of it, if we're sharing that with you, like as Anthea said, if the man's in a leadership position and he's sharing those things with you, think about it. And I'm not trying to put women down, but as men, there's a performance burden on us where we have to perform. So we're working so hard. Not that women don't work hard, but as a man, if you don't perform, you're considered not successful. You're considered maybe a loser. You know what I mean? There's going to be certain attachments to you if you're not performing as a man or if you're not at certain points. So it takes a lot of grit and grill because it's the same thing. Let's look at back in the day. Who was out hunting for food? The men. The women weren't doing it. It's just because, again, we weren't like, hey, women go out and go hunt the food. No, because they were like, you do that. You're the man. So that's what I'm saying. Once we hit of achievement, let's say like as a man, and we have all that stuff together, it takes a lot of hard work to do that. So once we've accomplished that and we find a girl that we like or a woman that we love or whatever, we'll gladly share our resources with her. And that's how we will express our form of love. But you see, how do you lose if a man is sharing his greatest gifts with you and that's his resources? Like, how do you lose? You don't.
You don't lose. No, you absolutely don't lose. And as like as a woman, I would much prefer to be phoning somebody or be in communication or in love. If we go to the love side of things, completely in love with somebody who has their stuff together, because I've been in relationships where they haven't had that and it doesn't feel good, doesn't make me want to phone them, doesn't make absolutely it doesn't, because I found myself fighting against it, because it's, to me it's like, well, you haven't even done this, you haven't done that, so why would I give you all my time, energy and money? It goes the same way. Like, I wouldn't want to share that stuff with somebody who's not taken any type of leadership, who hasn't established themselves in any way, shape or form. And let's go on to a really other side of things, is like sitting there on the sofa all day watching morning TV or daytime TV all day. And then how that, to me, that isn't an inspiration. That's not someone I aspire to be. My man would need to be somebody who I can aspire to be around and feel inspired by them, and they feel inspired by me, because in that way there's teamwork going on. And then submission will be where I can say, he leads and I go along with that, and the decisions that he makes, I back them up. And if I don't think that it's like a really good decision, then I can voice my opinion. Yeah, I'll voice my opinion on side of things. But if ultimately his decision is what it is, then his decision is what it is. And if it doesn't, if it only benefits him and it puts me out the picture, then, well, that's a relationship that's not going anywhere. So right?
I love that you said that though. Like, you touched on so many amazing points. You see, she's saying that if a man is well put together, she won't fight him. If he is like on his vision, if he is, everything's put together, all the resources are cultivated, everything's there. You see, as she said, there'll be less resistance.
Yes.
But a man that does not have his stuff together, there's going to be resistance, because one of the greatest gifts that a man can receive from a woman is submission, where she's willing to jump on your program, she's willing to follow you, she's willing to go in your direction with less resistance. And you see, like, I love that she touched on the fact that, you know, if a guy's sitting on the couch, if he's not on his purpose, and she has to tell him to be on his purpose, of course it's going to be problematic. Because I love it, because what she's saying is, I shouldn't have to tell you to go out and hunt. You should automatically have that killer instinct to want to go out and hunt.
Yes.
I shouldn't have to tell you that we need food. I shouldn't have to, like, you should already be like, babe, it's already done.
Yes.
Like, it's already done. What you worried about? She's like, what? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, he's able to just get things done without having to be asked or told. And
Yes.
you see, like, you can see the tonality in Anthea's voice when she spoke about it, because there was a level of excitement of, I want to give that to a man. I don't want to resist him. I want to submit to his program. Now, obviously, if he's a healthy man, and we're going to talk about this, if he's a healthy man, all decisions he makes are only going to benefit both of you.
Yes.
That's the key factor. If he's in a healthy space mentally, any decision he makes, because as she said, if there's something that he's doing that's questionable, I'll voice my opinion. But if she knows him and that any decision he's made in the past has always been beneficial to both of you, then she'll be like, you know what, I don't even need to give my input, because every decision that he makes only benefits our unit, what we're building. But if he wasn't a healthy man, then of course she's gonna be like, oh, this, that, and give inputs, because she'll be like, his decision making's a little off.
Hmm. I watched something last night, interesting enough, that's on this subject, where there's a couple who are madly in love with each other, and there was a decision that the male had to make, and the woman absolutely trusts everything he says, and she does her own thing. She's got her own life in her workspace. She's got her own vision, absolutely, but they share the same vision in that sense of going in the same direction. And what was interesting is he had to make a decision about giving a restaurant to somebody, giving it his restaurant that he'd built over a number of years to somebody who was threatening within this program. And anyway, he chose not to tell his woman, because he knew that she knew how much it meant to him, and that she could possibly say, like, don't do it for me, because he was doing this for the purpose of her. It was something to do with his other half. So his decision was to give the restaurant away to save any bad negative vibe that can come back to his woman. And he didn't tell her, but when he surprised her with a new restaurant, and she said, you didn't tell me that, why did you do that? And no, she didn't ask why. She said, I trust what you've done, and I know that you didn't tell me, because I would have said to you, like, don't do that for me. And he turned around and said, exactly, but I wanted to do it for you, and I didn't want anything to come in the way of that, and I knew that this will benefit us in the long run anyway. And it was an amazing scene to watch, how this female and male who are together, who are totally in love, and how he took that stand, made that decision, knowing that he's going to lose something that he's built, but it would benefit them in the long run, and it would benefit his woman in the present moment of nothing bad happening to her. And that was a great example of her just submitting to that and just following lead. And it was really good to see. And like I said, she's completely got her own life in. She's a marketing guru. She does her own thing. She's got her own career path. But she trusted his decision, and he just took the lead. And it all worked out. So that was a really great thing
But you
to
see,
see.
the amazing thing about it, what you just said, and I love that you brought that up. You see, he surprised her, and she wasn't like, well, why did you sell the restaurant? Why did you do this?
No.
She trusted his wisdom and said, I understand why you did this.
Yeah.
It was beneficial for both parties.
Yes.
Because as I and again, this is what I believe. You guys don't have to believe what we believe. I believe that if a man is well put together, he has all his stuff together, and a woman jumps on his program, especially
Yes,
if his stuff
absolutely.
is together. Now, if his stuff is not together, he needs to go take the time away to go do that, and then come back into the picture. Maybe not with her, but maybe just take some time to get his resources in order, and then come back into the dating picture. One of the things that I actually do want to talk about is submission to the wrong man,
Mm.
because we see it a lot. I see it, Anthea sees it, where a woman is submitting to the wrong man. Now, we're going to talk about what is submission in those negative condemnations, and maybe how to avoid that. So, I'm going to go first. I've seen a lot of women that I've talked to, have opened up to me, submit to men that weren't mentally put together, had emotional trauma, weren't healed, Their stuff was all over the place. It was like a finger painting. It was just all over the place. And I'm sitting there like, why are you submitting to this guy? Like, clearly, he's all over the place. There's a lot of trauma, pain in this relationship. It's not healthy. And they'll always say, I love him. And I'm like, okay, I get that. But he has no plan. He has no direction. It's just kind of swinging for the fences. And I'm like, that doesn't work. There's more pain than there is love there. Now, I believe everything is fixable, but in a lot of the situations I've seen, a lot of the times I always tell the women, choose men that choose you. Why are you giving away your most greatest gift, which is number one? There's multiple things, but we'll just kind of crunch it together. Is number one, your mind, your body, and mission. And why are you going to give all that away to a guy that clearly doesn't appreciate that you're willing to submit to him, and he's acting a fool, but yet you're still rewarding bad behavior by submitting? You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense why you'd still want to continue to do that. And that's why I always say, choose people that choose you. And when I mean choose you, I mean like they're in a healthy place to give you the best version of themselves, because they're like, here's this amazing woman. I don't want to give her anything less than who I am. So again, I need to work on myself. So that's what I believe is very dangerous, because again, and Anthea will touch on this, women go off their feelings a lot. I like them, I like them, I like them. But then they're giving and submitting in ways that they shouldn't be, because again, I believe that you're not looking for a boyfriend or a girlfriend. You're looking for someone with husband or wife qualities. So you have to ask yourself, does that person display husband or wife qualities that would be beneficial long term? So then why would you submit to someone that you don't see those qualities in?
Absolutely. I so agree with that, because too many of us will go, but I like him, but I love him, or I've been with him for this amount of time. Now, if you're not happy, if you're completely not happy with every move that your other half is making, then, and you're using him as your reason for your unhappiness, then there's a problem everywhere there, isn't there? Because number one, you should only make yourself happy. You're the one that makes you happy, and then you spill that love over. Like that happiness that comes from within you, you can give it out also. And the same with the male. If he's happy within himself and he's presenting the best version of himself, but you're looking at that and saying to yourself, well, I don't like this and I don't like that and I don't like this, and he doesn't do this and he doesn't do that, then that's contradicting the fact that he's showing the best version of himself. So he obviously isn't showing the best version of himself, or you're not seeing the best version of him. So I think there's a lot of components that goes into this. There's so many ingredients, shall we say, that goes in, because as a woman, like with a man, if you're going for the wrong one, what is the wrong one? The wrong one, you feel it in your heart, you feel it in your spirit, because you're not feeling loved, you're not feeling secure. And I think we've touched on this many times before, Michael, with the security. If you don't feel secure with your man, or he doesn't do anything with you, not for you, more with you. So he goes out to dinner and he just goes only with the males, never takes you anywhere, or anything that happens, he goes on his own holidays, he goes on his own, he does his own thing, doesn't really involve
it's like he's single.
He's single, basically. He's living a single life. How does that benefit you? You got to always think, how's it going to benefit me too? And just like the male will think, how will it benefit me? Because everything we do in life is for our fulfillment, towards our happiness. So if we're not feeling that happiness, then why? Question, why is it? What is it? What's going on? Is it something within you? Are you looking at something is it something you've got to flip your lens and look through new lens now? Or is it can you focus on, is there enough stuff that you can focus on with your man that can actually bring you back to that happy place? Or is it completely, there's nothing there, you're just holding on to something because you're fearing? And every decision is made out of either love or fear. So if you're fearing being by yourself, and that's why you're staying with that person, well, that's unfair to yourself, and that's unfair to him too, because you're not happy with them.
You're not giving him the best version of yourself.
And that's right, you're not giving the best version of yourself. And I think you should always show up in wherever you are as the best version of you. I mean, we can't always stay in that place. We're going to drop, we're going to have reactions to things, but it's how long these reactions last. So I think Michael touched earlier on, if you're coming home, I think he said in the last podcast, actually, if somebody's coming home from work and there's a female there just moaning and moaning, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? And the guy's been out all day. I mean, who wants to come home to that anyway? Even if it's not your partner, if it's just a housemate, you don't want to hear that. Especially if you're doing everything in your power to make sure you're showing up as the best version of you, and then you've got somebody who's completely negative, completely shouting at everything, or why touch this, or why did you move this, or why did you do that?
He doesn't trust his leadership. She doesn't trust
the leadership. Yeah, she doesn't trust the leadership, and it just goes off track. So I think you've really got to stop and think about where you are. Like, what is it with your relationship? And when you're looking for a relationship or you meet somebody, know where you're going with it and know what you want. And we said this before. And once you do go into and you find somebody who you will know, when he puts his arms around you, you feel it, that the conversation spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and you will want to do and lead and have him lead alongside, because it's nice to have that male hold you, and you feel that security. You turn to him and you know that
you can relax in the feminine.
Thank you, Michael. Absolutely.
A big question. I'm going to ask you a big question. Why do women submit to unhealthy men? Why do they stay in these relationships admitting to these men that they know are not good, but yet they're still yearning to be with these men?
Fear of missing out, fear that a lot of women approach a relationship where they think they can fix the man. It just doesn't work. Yeah, it is. It's like you think I can help them, but actually you don't. A woman never needs to help a man in that sense, not when you're getting to know somebody. It's different if you've been in a relationship, long loving relationship, and something quite, something horrible happens, a business gets completely pulled down and it's just gone to nothing, and you're having to rebuild yourselves together. That's one thing. But to be with a man and you're trying to fix him, or you're trying to, I mean, I know I've done it. I think if I just spend enough time with him, I know that I can help change him, and I know that he can be this, and because I can see the better version of somebody. And that's just a natural thing that I have, where I can see somebody comes to me and they're in a broken place. I can see their unbroken place. I can see them as a fulfilled person, and that's just something that I've got, that I do. But and that's where I was kind of mixed up with that. But actually, it's that person has to want that there for themselves, and they have to be the one leading that. And especially with a male, they have to want to change. They have to want to make the difference. And like Michael said before, if that's what it is, then he needs to go away and come back. And if you are still willing and you're still available and you're still wanting that relationship, absolutely. But women just stay in these relationships so unhappy because I think because of fear, because they're fearing, they don't want to be by themselves. They're fearing loneliness. They're fearing that he will go and find someone better than them.
Woo. Okay, guys, that is, you see, I love that she said that. You see, a lot of times I always tell a lot of women, the only reason why you're staying and putting up with his bad behavior, because you're like, well, what if he changes and I'm not there?
Right.
What if he becomes everything I want, but I'm not there to receive it?
And it's somebody else.
And he gives it to someone else. But it's like you have to live in the present. If he's not giving it to you, it's like, sweetie, he clearly sees you're not the one, because again, women want relationships, right? And men want physical. So that's the thing. If he's not like giving you that commitment, it's a clear sign that he does not. I'm not going to say that he doesn't see you're worthy of commitment. He does not see that you're the one for him.
And it's not personal, right,
It's
Michael?
not
It's not
personal.
personal. And I think that's what we have to understand. It's not personal. At the end of the day, if somebody is not seeing your value and who you are, and they want to actually be with you, and they want to do everything, live their life with you, in, not saying you have to live together, but I mean, as in, like, you've got that journey together and you've got a vision together. Somebody's not sharing that and can't see that with you, or is not willing, or doesn't feel that, you can't take that personally.
No.
You just can't. Like, at the end of the day, it's, if it's not for you, actually
Well,
you're
I see a
saving
lot of
yourself
women
heartache.
do. I see a lot of women do that. They're like, well, I'll do this for him, and or I'll do more. I'll show him that I'm worthy of being picked.
Yes.
What you have to understand, and again, I'm gonna break this down. We are going to have a rewind moment in time here. That if somebody really likes you or is interested or wants to build with you, they don't make your life difficult. They make
Right.
it very easy for you to get close to them. I will say it again. When someone really likes you or is in love with you, they don't make it difficult for you to get close to them. They make it very easy. You don't have to go out of your way to do all these crazy grand gestures. You should, when it's in a healthy space, but like, you don't have to do all these crazy grand gestures just to get a drop of love,
Doesn't work
because
that
they will
way.
automatically want you close. They won't keep you at arm's length.
Yes. Yes. And too many women make this mistake where they run around and do so much for them, and they think by doing that he's going to love you.
Mm-mm.
No.
No,
No, he will use you. Absolutely.
exactly. He will use you because now you've put yourself in this position where you're like a monkey in a cage.
Yes,
That's you.
yes,
And I'm not trying to
yes.
make fun of somebody, but it's like put it this way, and we're going to use a nice little analogy here. If someone comes and puts a steak in front of you and you're at a table and they're like, you don't have to pay for it, just enjoy, you're going to eat it. It's the same thing when you keep giving extra stuff that you're doing in front of a guy. Of course he's gonna eat it. You're cleaning his room, you're driving around, you're taking care of him, you're doing all this extra stuff, you're all these things that you're doing. You're giving him physical and he's still not committing. Of
Mm,
course he's gonna eat the steak. He's gonna be
of
like,
course.
this is free. Of course he's going to take the attention and validation and all that stuff, especially if he just like finds you attractive but he doesn't want to commit. Of course he's going to eat the steak. He's going to eat the steak and say, well, I don't have to pay, because the girl has never established to say, you know what, you're getting none of this until there is a form of commitment on your end. That means that he has skin in the game. He has to take you out on dates. He has to put in effort. And with some guys, not all, but that scares the bad ones away. When you
Yes,
stand up for yourself and say, you're getting none of this from me until you put some skin in the game and there's a level of commitment from you, then they're like, nah, I don't think she's worth it. But that's a
mm,
good thing. It keeps
yes.
the bad ones away.
Self-worth, ladies, self-worth. Always know your self-worth. And I think it's such a big thing, because too many of us give ourselves away. And so I think was it you, Michael, maybe over a year ago or so, we had a conversation about giving out your PIN code for your mobile phone.
Yeah.
Would you give out your PIN code or give your mobile to somebody and give them all your information just like that? You
Yeah.
wouldn't. So why would you give yourself away just like that? You know,
That
you
exactly.
just
It has to be earned.
yes,
Earned.
yeah,
And that's the funny thing. Like, if you're in a healthy relationship, your partner won't even ask to look through your phone because they know
no,
that you don't do that. They
absolutely.
won't even because they're like, yo, I know they're here with me.
Yeah, their decisions, every decision comes back to each other, and it's just, you know, the difference between being in a healthy relationship and not a healthy
Most
relationship.
people don't though.
But
That's the scary part.
they don't know because they feel it. They know deep
Yeah,
down. I believe you know deep down inside. You just won't admit it to yourself. You just won't admit it. And I think
that could be true.
uh, yeah, because I know I've been there and I've done that where I've known that I've been in a relationship that's not good for me, but the excuses I'd come out with, like the excuses, oh yeah, but he will commit, or
Mhm.
yeah, but he does like me, otherwise he wouldn't call me. No, he's calling me because I'm giving him what he wants. I'm
I
giving
think
him
it's
what he
more
wants.
I think it's more of an example of where do you get your examples of what a good relationship is because some people
Yeah,
don't have a good example. They have like maybe
absolutely.
their parents that have gotten a divorce, maybe they grew up in a one parent household, maybe their standards and expectations come from movies, TVs, or whatever.
Mm,
So there's also a reevaluation that also needs to be done on that end of where are you getting your expectations and standards from
yeah.
when it comes to those things. Um,
Absolutely. No, I agree with that. Absolutely. Because it is our surroundings will set that tone for us unless we understand it, unless we go seeking out to see different and understand different. But otherwise, you only know what you know. You don't know what you don't know until you seek what you don't know to be able to know. And until you can go around that, then yeah, then until you can go around that and you can learn about and watch other people or just like study what is a good relationship, what will work for me. And as long as you can find what will work for you, then and you feel that, sorry if anyone can hear a
no,
dog
no,
in
it's
the
okay,
background.
guys. The information, keep it.
Yeah, my apologies. I completely lost where I was going there. But yeah, I think I was just saying, yeah, once you get that information and you can start implementing that for yourself, like this, like we're speaking now, it's like if there's certain things that have resonated with you and you have to stop and think about, hang on, this is happening in my relationship, then research some more. Like continue to research and complete and continue to learn more about yourself and what it is you're looking for and what you want. Because yeah, you can, so it's sometimes I feel it can be a shame when you're in I see a relationship that is actually you know, there is no respect going on. You can see there's no respect, but the woman or the man saying, the woman's saying, oh, but I love him. But what is it you're loving about him? The fact that he doesn't treat you well, the
Mm.
fact that he's always shouting at you, the fact that he doesn't agree with what you say. Is that what you're loving? Is that what you feel that is, you know, good for you? Well, actually, if you turn that around and understand your self-worth and see, would you want to be that person shouting? No, like you want to wake up with peace. You want a peaceful day. You want a peaceful life. We want a happy life at the end of the day. And they say, you know, a happy wife brings a happy home. No, a happy wife
A
brings a
happy
happy
life,
life.
a happy wife brings a happy
Brings a happy
home.
life. Yeah, yeah, or a happy
Um,
life also, right? So
I agree
yeah,
with that, and that's why, like, I always tell women, your greatest gift is one of your greatest gifts is submitting to a man, but you have to be able to vet if he is worth submitting to. That's the thing. How does he treat you? Not, oh, he treats me good sometimes. Is it consistent? Is it the same thing? You know what I mean? That's the thing. You have to look at if you're going to submit to him, does he have a plan? Because think about it, you don't get on a boat without knowing the destination. So why
no,
would you get with somebody that you have no idea where they're going? They just kind of live in the moment. It's not practical, especially when you're at like an age 25, 30 up and you're building your growth. You only want to get involved with people that have a plan and it's a program that you feel you can get on. You see what I'm saying? So it's like you don't want to get on a boat when the captain's like, I have no idea where we're going. You're like, Captain, sign me up. That's going to be disastrous. But at the same time, we have to be realistic here that, go ahead.
I was going to say is also emotionally intact and mentally intact, like, because you get into, yes, somebody could have a plan, but they could be, if they're a very angry person, and anything you say to them, they just kind of completely react to everything, and that's not healthy either. There's different aspects. Again, there's different ingredients to it, I suppose. So yeah, like Michael said, you get on a boat, you need to know where you're going. You get on an aeroplane, you want to know, like, you've got on the right aeroplane and you're going in the right direction to where your destination is. Get in the car and you're traveling, you want to put in the sat nav where you're going and you want to know your destination. But also, if you had your sat navigation system started effing and blinding at you and screaming and shouting, you would throw it out the window. Who are you talking to? And it's a machine at the end of the day. So it's the same with a person, right?
The funny thing is I always ask women this question is, I get it, you're willing to submit, you know what I mean, or they're not, or whatever, and they'll tell me a bunch of things, but I always ask them, what are you submitting to? And they crickets. They a woman can never sometimes tell me what her standards are, what it is she's looking for. It's more of a sense of, well, he treats me good, he's good looking. But there's no like sustenance, like deeper than that, in the sense of, what is he like? What are his plans? What are his plans for you? And they could never tell me that because they're so emotionally driven. Now, it's not knocking women, they're hardwired that way. But with that being said, who runs your life? You or your emotions? Because think about it, if you've always life, look at the track record of men you've dated and how successful those relationships were. Now, if they weren't successful, like there was a lot of turmoil, fighting, arguing, discord, whatever, and you're continuing that cycle, there's something wrong that you need to address. Because again, on this podcast, we hold people accountable. When I talk to women and they'll tell me, oh, he does this, he does this, he does this, he does this, he's mean to me, he's cruel, I stop the conversation because I say, you picked him.
And you're staying there.
And it goes quiet. You're saying he's all these terrible things, and I'm not excluding men from their bad behavior. Men do some nefarious stuff. But I say, you are picking him. So who's to blame? His bad behavior or you picking him? Because it's only you picking him that allows his bad behavior. Because if you've picked him, even after he still displays bad behavior and you're still picking him and still submitting, who's to blame? Not like blame as in a bad word, but who's accountable? You are.
We have to be accountable for ourselves. And you're so on point what you're saying there, Michael. You know, we continue to choose. And then I've heard so many women say, why do I keep picking the bad ones, the wrong ones? Why am I? But we are always attracting. So it's our own self-talk. It's how we see ourselves. It's our own self-worth. It's knowing what we want. Now, if we don't have any of that in play and we don't respect ourselves, we don't have that self-worth behind us, and we don't know what we want from a man, then you're just going to get anything. And anything's going to come your way. And then you're trying to battle something that you don't need to battle, because you don't ever need to argue with people. You can have disagreements, absolutely. But when it gets into that bad, horrible argument, like, what are you doing? Like, if you can't find your connection and you don't know how to communicate with one another, you both need to step away and understand each other. As in, by yourself. You need to understand you, and he needs to go and understand him. And if you go your own ways, and then you come to that point where you've understood yourself, he's understood himself, and you know that you can slowly get back together because you want to take that journey together, then absolutely. But if it doesn't, who cares? He's not the only man in the world, or she's not the only woman in the world. There's so many people out here that are looking what you are seeking, what you're seeking. And we stop ourselves from having those relationships because we don't want to walk away just in case he finds someone better, and he gives that to somebody else, or because we're fearing. But you know what? If he gives it to someone else, he gives it to someone else. Who cares? You're going to get it from someone else, because there's never a lack out here. We're abundant beings, so we can have anything, but it's our mindset, it's how we see things, our perspective on life, that stops these things coming our way and being stuck. As like, people think we're trees and we can't move. We can move, we can change things, we can do whatever we want. We choose not to. And what I find it happens is there's a level of wanting to just moan and moan and moan about the same person. You know what? If you're going to moan about them that much, what are you doing? You're wasting your life, you're wasting your time, your energy, just moaning about that one person. Move on.
And I love that you said that. And again, I'm also going to include something really small. Men, this is for you too. You cannot blame the women when you're saying, well, she does this to me, and you picked her. Take accountability. It's one thing that I had to realize, because sometimes I'll go to my friends and say, oh man, she did this to me, or what. You picked her. Take accountability, guys. Like, it's both parties, men and women. But to wrap it up in a sense, ladies, vet the men you're going to submit to. And again, you see, I love that we touched on some things. There are benefits to submitting to a man, a good man. You see, that's the thing that's never included. A good man.
Good man.
There are benefits to submitting to a good man. You'll trust his leader. You can relax in the feminine. You know that every decision he's making is only going to benefit the family or the unit or whatever it is you guys are building. And you know that you could feel safe in that space. It's a good man. So again, guys, thank you for giving us 56 minutes of your time. We actually have, on our next episode, I actually want to break down, and again, me and Anthony are going to have fun doing this. I left it a surprise for her too, of what a good man is and what a good woman is and what a good woman isn't and what a good man isn't.
Hey.
That is actually going to be our next topic next Wednesday, because I think
Brilliant.
people need to know. They have no idea. They'll say, well, they're angry. Okay, but you have to establish of what it is you're willing to tolerate and what it is you're not willing to tolerate. And then based off of that, you're able to discern of, this is a man I can deal with. This is a man I can't deal with. This is a woman I can deal with. This is a woman I can't deal with.
Absolutely.
So what happens is we're going to do something special for you guys. We're going to have that episode next Wednesday, but we're also I'm going to try to whip together something like a PDF for you guys, so it can be shared on Facebook and stuff like that, and in our group, of a PDF for you guys of a health. One side's going to be what a healthy woman is, what a healthy woman isn't. One side's going to be what a healthy male isn't, and what a healthy man is. And you'll be able to have this PDF as like a baseline fact checker.
Excellent. That's amazing. That's actually amazing, because we can hear things and we can often forget what was being said. But when you've got something to read and you can print out, or you can have it on your phone and just keep referring back to, you can actually go back to it and remember, you've met somebody, good man, not so good man, good woman, not so good woman.
Yeah, exactly.
What are we looking for? What's the aspect? This is going to be juicy. More ingredients to put into our cake.
Exactly. It's going to be called a relationship checklist.
Hey,
and that's what it is. Like, it's going to be a relationship checklist that you can use to to say, okay, good man, bad man. But again, guys, thank you for giving us your time today.
Thank you.
And we're
Much
looking
appreciated.
forward to seeing you guys next Wednesday.
Excellent. You guys have an amazing day ahead. And thank you again. Much love to you all.
Take care, everybody.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.